Hello, everybody. Welcome to the webinar. We'll get started in just another minute. But as you're joining, if you want to put your name and where you're calling in from, we'd love to hear who's online today. So welcome to the webinar. We'll get started officially in another couple of minutes. Thanks for joining.
Hello, Professor Bai. Thank you for joining.
Welcome,
It's very
everybody.
supportive.
So happy you could all be here. We'll get started in just a few minutes, actually in another minute. And if you want to put your name and where you're calling in from, it would be great. Put that in the chat if you would. And if you can keep yourselves on mute for now, you'll have a chance later on if you want to ask a question. So welcome, everybody. We have Wisconsin. We have Taiwan. We have more people joining. Southwest Colorado, hello. Nice to see the land of the Everglades here. Okay, another 15 seconds and we'll get started. Welcome, everyone. Well, we have a full schedule. We are going to get started. Welcome to everyone who has joined, and I know a few people are still joining. Welcome to today's webinar or tonight's webinar, depending on where you are. My name is Judy Browse, and I'm the Executive Director of the North American Association for Environmental Education, and we are the Secretariat of the JEEP. And we are so excited to have you on board, and we're so excited with our speakers tonight and the issues that we'll be talking about of how to create a new green future. And this is all about embracing sustainable practices and lifestyles. And we hope throughout this presentation, you put your questions in the chat or any resources or comments that you have, because we all want to learn from each other. And we have a wonderful lineup of speakers where you'll get a chance to meet this wonderful group of speakers in just a minute. But first, just a couple of high-level remarks. This webinar is sponsored by the JEEP, the Global Environmental Education Partnership. And the goal of the JEEP is to create a vibrant and inclusive learning network. It's about building capacity in countries for around the world to strengthen environmental education and help create a more just and sustainable future. And it's all about strengthening EE around the world and sharing good practice. And you can find out more about the JEEP at thejeep.org. And the JEEP is really about collaboration and learning, sharing effective practices, strengthening the networks that connect us all. And this webinar is part of our learning outreach as part of the JEEP. And it's also part of the work of the Asia Pacific Regional Center, which is a JEEP hub trying to strengthen environmental education in the Asia Pacific region. And you can find out more about the Asia Pacific region on the web. And it's led by TC Chang, and we have Tina and Ivy here, who are both working as part of the Asia Pacific Regional Center, doing great work in the region. We're so excited to partner with them. And tonight and this morning, we are talking about how we can create a new green future. And that means, how can we help get to net zero? How can our consumer habits help us pave the way for new ways of living sustainably? And how can we promote creativity and innovation as we think about this greener future? And there are lots of ways to think about what is a green future, and we're going to hear some perspectives tonight. But before we get into the presentations, for those of you who are not familiar with using Zoom, very easy. You can type questions in the chat throughout. You can also click on the closed captions, and you can translate those captions into whichever language you would like, from English, which the webinar is about, to another language. And we are recording this webinar and we will share it. So you'll get another chance. If you miss something, don't worry. And you can see here where the chat is, big red arrow, and you can see where the captions are. And when you click on the captions, you can choose from, I think it's over 30 languages, of what would be best for you as you're listening today. So we hope this webinar will give you ideas about how we can all think about living more sustainably and creating a new green future, which is what this is all about. And I just want to say that there really are opportunities for all of us, no matter what we do, where we live, where we work, to make a difference. We can all take action to create the positive change that needs to happen to help us live more sustainably and equitably around the world. So again, we have three wonderful speakers. I am going to briefly introduce them all at once right now, and then I will turn it over to Nikki, who will start off. But Nikki is an associate professor at the Department of Earth and Life Sciences at the University of Taipei, and she serves as the chairman of the Chinese Society for Environmental Education. She helps support international exchanges to support environmental education in Taiwan and around the world. And she also thinks about the research that helps us with intergenerational education, ESG, and EE certification systems. So that is Nikki, and we're happy you're here. Second, we will hear from Sujitra, who is a senior researcher at the Environmental Research Institute in Thailand, with almost 20 years of experience in the field of environmental economics. She has conducted many research and she has conducted a lot of research and written a lot of articles on waste management, with a focus on electronic waste in her early career and solid waste, including plastic, in her recent years. And she has done some great work on the circular economy and is supporting schools working towards zero waste and organizing a summer camp to cultivate environmental leadership in young people. And then we will hear from Holly, who is Vice President of Marketing, who has a demonstrated history of working in the nonprofit sector and understanding organizational management. She also has a background in youth leadership, fundraising, and teamwork, and she hopes to use the power of business to support education for everyone and to help support the environment and animal protection. And you'll hear more about Baked Tipsy from her, of trying to develop a zero leftover food line and building sustainable living paths with consumers. So we have three wonderful speakers. And Nikki, I'm going to turn it over to you right now and stop sharing. Welcome.
Okay, thank you, Judy, and welcome everyone. On behalf of the Society for EE in Taiwan, I want to thank you all for joining this meeting, online meeting. And I'm very glad to see many old friends and many new faces on the internet from all over the world. And first, I'm so sorry. I thought I'm the facilitator for today instead of a speaker. So sorry that I didn't prepare any presentation. But I think none of you will be regretted, because, well, the two speakers we will have today are great. And the topic we are going to talk about today is about net zero. It's about waste, whether it's plastic waste or food waste. I think it's more important, even more important, more urgent than climate change. And of course, highly related to the cause of climate change. So I think that you will enjoy the same webinar today. And as for the two speeches, I think you hear a lot of practical and academic insights or experiences from Sujitra from Thailand. And she's not only a practitioner, but also a scholar in this field. And also, I know that today one of our audiences interviewed Holly from Taiwan before, and the audience is very excited to know how things are going with Holly. And of course, I also love to know too. So let's hurry up and applaud both of their presentation. And so next I will pass to Sujitra. Okay. Thank you. And
Okay.
let's give Sujitra a round of applause. Thank you.
Good morning and good evening for somebody. So good morning from Thailand. I hope that you can hear me clearly. So let me share the screen and thank thank you for the host to invite me to share my work on the zero waste schools. So this is the topic of my presentation: promoting zero waste lifestyle through zero waste school and youth camp in Thailand, which have some link to the zero waste, zero emission, or we are trying to create new lifestyle that try to reduce our carbon footprint. So I think it would be related. And before I jump to my detail, I would like to give you my overall of my past research experience. So my work is something around the zero waste concept. And I started and the project manager like 7 years ago. I'm the project manager of Jura Zero Waste, trying to create the solid waste management system and create the zero waste culture in the Chulalongkorn University. So it's quite old. It's most popular and oldest university in Thailand, located in the downtown of Bangkok. And at that time, so I also start the zero waste school program with Chulalongkorn University demonstration schools. So in the campus, we also have the school, elementary school and secondary schools. So these two schools, the first place that I practiced the zero waste school concept with them. And later on, I expand my work to over 10 schools in Bangkok and its vicinity. So I expand my work out of the campus to promote zero waste concept with the community level at the Samut Prakan province. At that time, I also introduced zero waste program with the 3 schools, and it's still ongoing. And also I expand my work with the city level. It means the Bangkok Metropolitan Administration, or BMA, the Bangkok City. So I'm right now working with the Bangkok City governor officials and try to implement the zero waste project in pilot districts. So we are also working with schools, some temples, communities, office buildings, try to reduce waste at source. And also my main expertise is more on the policy level. So I'm the one who advocate for the changing the laws, which would create much impact, laying out the laws, infrastructure to support the zero waste lifestyle. So in this case, so I promote the Circular Economy Promotion Act and the EPR, Extended Producer Responsibility Act, for packaging waste. So this is my ongoing work right now. It's quite so many. And okay, next to, so before we talk about why we have to do about waste, so let's see the situation of solid waste in Thailand. Actually, we see Taiwan also as a role model that you can overcome the solid waste problem challenges, and you can create the new culture of waste segregation at source, but still far far behind Taiwan. So Thailand still have create a lot of waste, and most household or people still mix waste when they throw away garbage. And because the local government only have one garbage truck, and people think that even we separate waste, the garbage collectors still mix out their sorted waste in one truck. So the infrastructure is not yet there, but we need to also understand the limitation of the local government as well. I will not go in detail much, but you can look the figure, the statistic here. But I can say that overall in Thailand, the solid waste system is not yet good. Most of the disposal sites still are the open dumps, which cause the serious environmental and health impact. And we have almost 8,000 local governments, and most of them are small and medium organizations, so they lack of the budget, human resources. But I think the most important thing, they lack of the political will to promote waste segregation. So this is something that's why I have to promote the new laws to create change on the ground, and working with the several ministry to reform the solid waste management system. Otherwise, if we still let the problem like this, I think marine plastic pollution will be the one that it will be worsening. I just show you some photo of the marine debris that affect the tourism economy in Thailand as well, as you can see in Bang San Beach and Chantaburi Beach. And we need to raise awareness of people if why we need to solve the waste problem. Otherwise, we will face the problem of microplastic contamination in our food chain. This is shows some garbage pack that we found in the southern of Thailand, and now there are many research articles published that they found some microplastic contamination in our seafood. This is show some picture that in Thailand we also found microplastic contamination in water, in drinking water, in seafood, and so on. So because I'm the policy researcher, when I study or compare our laws and regulation with other countries, Thailand still lag behind other countries in terms of laws and implementation. So I try to promote this one as my main mission. And there are many policy instruments to solve or to shift both consumer and producer toward the sustainable consumption and production. And education and awareness is also one important policy, but I have to say that it cannot stand alone. It has to be used in complementary with other policy instruments that I advocated for. So coming to the environmental education, which I focus on zero waste, promoting zero waste lifestyle. So during my work with the July Zero Waste Program, I have done some, and my partner developed some educational materials. So when we talk about small kids, we also develop a storybooks called What is in the Sea to raise awareness on the marine plastic pollution. And we try to show that if the kids want to save the lives of the whales and turtles, you can practice reduce, reuse, recycle to save the marine lives. And we also support Less Plastic Thailand is another NGO on educational video for kids. Both are developed in Thai language and in English, so you can see we try to raise awareness of the problem of waste, microplastic, and try to reduce the consumption of plastic bottle. And we also touch upon the the food waste as well, because we try to link the food waste with the climate change of the global warming. So we try to raise awareness of the kids and teachers that if we can reduce food waste, we also can help solving the global warming. So after the past 5 years in working with the zero waste and working with schools, so we developed the zero waste school guide. This one, this is a concept that I propose that we should have 4 components like this when we want to introduce or school want to implement zero waste program. So they need to have 4 components like policy and work plan with the working group, active teaching and learning in the class and after class, changing school environment to facilitate changing behavior, and need to engage their parents, the kids' parents, and the community to come together. Because we found that if we just ask teacher to teach students at school to segregate waste, but then when they go back home, their parents said, just mix up the waste because garbage truck, garbage collector don't separate it. So it needs to go together, school, at home, and the more on the infrastructure of solid waste management system. And under that guide, so we develop kind of checklist towards zero waste school. Is a kind of simple one that if we want to follow the 4 components, what the school should do, it can be the self-assessment before and after they implement the program as well. So I will not go much in detail like in this slide. So, and then when I implement the zero waste school program, we have like simple step of like this, at least 5 steps, like introduce the zero waste school program to the school leaders. And the most important thing also collecting the baseline data, waste composition at school, and do some survey on the student and teacher knowledge, attitude, and behavior as a baseline data, so that we can compare the result when we implement the program, whether the residual waste had been reduced, whether the behavior or attitude had been changed. And then we provide some trainer to the teacher. So if possible, we should give the training to all teachers, but sometimes it's a quite large school, so we can do some training only with the a core team of the teachers. So then we encourage school to set up their working group, and the working group, the mostly teacher, and we encourage them to have the representative from the officer and the student as well. They will brainstorm the action plan to achieve a zero waste school, and then we support them on what they want to do to improve the infrastructure, and we provide them the educational material that we have developed. And besides helping individual school, I also did some trainer 1-day zero waste school workshop for school leader and teacher. So this one we can reach out more than 1 or 2 school at once. So we reach out to about 17 schools in Bangkok that joined the workshop. Actually, there are more than this, like more than 40 schools who applied to join the training workshop, but we could accept only 17 schools due to the budget limitation. And this is the step that we conduct the training. I think the most important thing that we need to raise awareness of the school leaders why they have to implement the zero waste school program, and then we invite some good practice or role model of zero waste school who got the award to share their practice and lesson learned. And then we conduct some workshop sharing the teaching material and teaching more on waste sorting, which we found that sometimes they lack of the basic knowledge. Sometimes it's beyond what they know before. And then we let them to brainstorm on their zero waste school program and share their idea among the participants. And after the training workshop, we also offer the grant for school to improve their waste management at school. So we ask those who are interested to have the pitching activity to win the 10,000 baht. It's not the big amount, but it can create some change on the ground. So we offer some grant for school as well. So this is the lesson learned from the zero waste school program that I learned. Sorry, that we found when we helped the school, we found that zero waste school program are not the priority of most school, because most school, especially after the COVID-19, they have to focus on student academic improvement. And some schools still rely on our project staff to run the activity. Even we told them that, oh, we should work together to improve the infrastructure, but still the teacher just let us do the project. So I think it's not much as achievable if we don't have clear policy from the Ministry of Education and the municipalities. For example, BMA, Bangkok Metropolitan Administration, who taking care of over 400 Bangkok schools, 400 schools in Bangkok. So I think that we need to do more on this one, working more also on the policy level to drive change on the ground. And also, we also got one school who developed the integrated curriculum. I think having the integrated curriculum is also one solution to embed or integrate the zero waste school program into school, because they think that, oh, they can also teach students while also promote the waste sorting or waste reduction. And we also work with the existing school educational platform like Child Platform, Child Impact Platform in this picture, and the Thai Help. They also having the online educational platform that we can plug in, and then we can disseminate our teaching material to all schools nationwide. So this, I think, is our current strategy to work with more partners. I share with you a little bit about my activity with the young people promoting mental leadership in youth. So we call this camp FLY. FLY stands for Fostering Mental Leadership in Youth. We call FLY Volunteer Bangkok Summer Camp that we organized in March this year. This is focused in school, secondary school students in Bangkok. So it's just a one day, it's just a day program for 4 days. It's like they come in the morning and they go back home in the evening, so no overnight staying. So we work with the 45 secondary school students from 17 schools in Bangkok. And this is the approach that we organize the camp, quite similar to with working with teachers. So we need to raise awareness, so education and inspiration. Inspiration is very important thing. Inspire them to aware of the issue and try to have some passion to solve the waste problem, and get some hand-on experience. Took them outdoor to learn the actual problem. So we took them to the on-nut waste transfer station, so they can feel the impact of mixing waste with the organic waste, which quite have like very bad odor, bad smell for them. So with visiting the on-nut transfer station, really raise their awareness. And then they also learn about the work of the informal sector. We call the selling and junk shop. So this may be the first time for them to experience this kind of thing. And then we share with them the process of design thinking, and then let them try to propose the topic that they want to solve, the waste topic that they want to solve. And we give them one week to brainstorm and to find solution with some mentorship that we develop. And then they pitch at the pitching day with some committee, with some judge, which I'm the judge as well, under the topic of living a life less wasteful, and get some winning teams. And the winner will get some grants to take action at school or their proposed area. So this is the strategy that we developed, the youth summer camp. And we also have some following up youth who got the grant as well, about 6 schools who got the grant. So we just visit their school and see what they have done as they approach. For example, at the middle, we visit the school that two students approach to have waste sorting bin, and then they try to get do some rinse off of the drink, the leftover drink from the plastic cup, try to clean it before dispose it. And on the right hand side, the student proposed to develop the composter together with the bicycle. So they think that a student can do some exercise while helping the composting the food waste as well. So this is some example, and improving the sorting bin. So in conclusion, sorry, I think developing youth to become leaders in solving problems should be done in conjunction with development of the zero waste school. And because we should also not just wait school to be ready for the zero waste lifestyle, which we need to like talk and train teachers. But if we have more staff and budget, we also in parallel empowering the youth or the children to take action right now, because now the climate change and the whole problem is really very serious one. We cannot just wait anyone to be ready, but we need to empower our stakeholders. And the camp should create hands-on experience for students to learn this one. And I think because the camp is really good strategy to empower the youth, I also got another grant to do the camp again next year. And I plan that this in the second camp, I will also push more for the policy changes as well. I plan to invite the Deputy Governor of BMA to join the camp, so that I can push the policy together with changing on the ground. So I acknowledge for the sponsor of the activity. Thank you very much.
Sujitra, that was so fantastic. Thank you so much. We did have a question, and we'll save it till the end so that we can give Holly a chance. How about that? But that was a wonderful presentation, and you just emphasized so many important things, from collective action to the importance of policy, the integrated curriculum, and the youth program is fantastic. So I'm sure there'll be more questions at the end, but let's turn it over to Holly now, if you're ready, and we'll hear another presentation, and then we'll save some time at the end for questions from all of you. So thank you again, Sujitra. You are doing such fabulous work. Take it away, Holly.
Hi, can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. Let me see how this works. You're seeing my presentation, right? All right.
Yes.
Holly,
guess-
it's still
okay.
loading.
Okay, I'll give it like a
It might
second.
take it
So,
might take a second to load.
oh,
Um, let me ask, Anne, do you have a copy of Holly's presentation by any chance?
I do. Let me see if I can pull that up.
We might be able to do that, Holly, and then you can just ask to hit next.
oh yeah, sure.
Oh, there it is. Holly, do you want to share your screen? I can see it now.
Oh, you can see it now? Sweet. Okay.
Perfect.
So, hello, everybody. My name is Holly, and I am the co-founder of Bake Tipsy. And as Judy has introduced, I've been involved in and initiated multiple sustainability-related projects since grade 7. And they're basically on the issues on, like, say, plastic waste, animal aid, and women education. And I'm honestly super stoked to be here today because the topic for today's webinar is to embrace sustainable practices and lifestyle, right? And we talked about the zero waste lifestyle that Sujitra was educating people in Thailand about. So let's narrow it down to food, because I'm very fortunate to have met multiple educators such as Sujitra. And so I'm able to work on something I'm so passionate about. And I'd love to share a little bit about what we do and one of the practices that is food upcycling. So our business is called Bake Tipsy, and if English is not your first language, as it is for me, bake is like when you make cookies or bread, and tipsy is when you're slightly drunk. So obviously, all our products are baked goods and alcohol beverages. But since this webinar is sustainability focused, I'm sure you all can guess we don't just produce normal baked goods and alcohol beverages such as beer. What we do sell is sustainable baked goods and sustainable beer. So short answer to what we do or how we make them sustainable is that we take the food waste and we turn them into new products so they don't go to waste. Because I mean, Taiwan's current food waste situation is not good. I mean, with the surge attention of like to different, say, recycled materials and all the money pouring into new energy, green energy, food waste is often, I would say, overshadowed. Nobody really talks about the issue because we're just so used to it being around. And it's actually a huge problem because it poses a significant threat to the environment. And this being a huge concern on a global scale, and Taiwan is obviously no exception. The Environmental Protection Administration of Taiwan actually revealed that an average of 150 kg of food waste was produced per year per individual. And to put that into perspective, I'm around 50 kg, so that's like 3 me's. Imagine wasting 2 to 3 times the weight of the population, an entire population dumped every single year. The repercussions of food waste on the environment is profound. So to understand how we're going to tackle such a huge amount of waste, we must first understand what it is. And when we say food waste, that includes waste from 2 different categories. There's food waste and there's food loss. Food waste refers to the discarded or the wasted food at retail or like consumer level. So that includes all the leftovers, even the forgotten the forgotten pizza at the back of your fridge. The food lost are generally waste from before it reaches you. A simple rule of thumb for identifying food items as either lost or waste is that food loss refers to the edible food that is discarded, basically lost along the journey from production, post-harvest, storage, transportation, and processing. And generally, both these wastes are regarded as just general trash. So we burn them, we bury them, we feed them to our livestock. Of course, there are people out there with great solutions, such as food banks, and then there are shops selling discounted products near expiration dates, or there are great technology preventing stashing, but they generally target food waste. And to be honest, there's not much we can do at the moment when it comes to food loss. So that's when food upcycling comes in. We utilize this really innovative food technology and we take the waste from production lines to create new products and minimizing the waste. But when we talk food upcycling, very often people will ask us the difference between upcycling and recycling, because recycling is what we're used to, right? To clarify, recycling involves processing the discarded materials into raw materials and then for the new products, while upcycling, we elevate the waste into products of a higher value directly. So, for example, when we recycle a plastic bottle, we turn them into plastic beads, and then we turn them into new stuff like fabric. But when we upcycle a plastic bottle, we cut it up and we turn it into, say, a flower pot and use it directly. There's no need to turn them into plastic beads, and it's one less step, which means less resources or energy is used or wasted. And so when we're trying to extend the shelf life of these resources by upcycling it rather than deplete it, Alice, the name of our brand, Baked Tipsy. We're starting small. We don't really want them all, like all the waste. We're focusing on the baked goods industry and the brewing industry, and we keep the materials in use by using both waste that would otherwise be wasted. But to be frank, my love for the reduction of food waste is not that grand. To share why I wanted to start this company, as Sujitra was talking about zero waste lifestyle, I too wanted to live that life. I went to one of those camps, not the ones in Thailand, but the ones in Indonesia. We all know living zero waste is not that easy. I graduated college last year. Back at school, we get a lot of lectures about sustainability and climate change. Obviously, they talked about the melting icebergs and the dying polar bears and the crazy climate, and it made it sound like the world is doomed within our lifetime. And it sounded like the world would crash and die tomorrow, you know? I mean, I'm sure all the educators, the lecturers means well, because they're trying to encourage us, say, to bring our own containers for takeaways, maybe to switch to an electric car or green energy, or even put what we learn to use and say invent some kind of planet-saving technology. I know they meant well, but my friends and I walked out of that classroom terrified. We're too lazy to bring our own containers. And we're college kids, we're broke, we can't afford green energy, or we're too dumb for a planet-saving invention. So honestly, we didn't know what to do. And that's when we realized there are definitely more people like us, you know, people who are very willing to initiate our own sustainable journey, but we're lazy or we're broke or we're just dumb. So we're devoted. We spent the rest of our sophomore year um, looking for an easy way for anyone to join the sustainability game. So for us, you know, it has to be easy, it has to be cheap, and it has to be fun. And say the most ideal state would be for anyone to just lay there, open their mouth for something tasty, and that's it. You know, food was a simple and obvious answer. And so with that vision of sustainability for all through food, we collaborated with a brewer here in Taiwan and we created our first sustainable beer. It's quite self-explanatory. I'm not sure how many of you know how beer is brewed or any of you drink beer here, but the basic steps are that you prepare the ingredients. In Taiwan, it's mostly imported. You boil them, you let it cool, and you just let it ferment until it's ready to be bottled. So we collect the surplus, the wasted baked goods such as pretzels, and toast crust. We replace them with the imported barley in the beer brewing process. So this simple change helps reduce the waste of these baked goods, but also at the same time, we reduce the carbon emission that beer brewing itself would otherwise consume because we cut out the unnecessary importing. But of course, how can we stop here? Because let's be honest, the beer brewing itself still has its own food waste too. So after the boiling of the barley for the beer, they will take out everything and leaving only the liquid to ferment. So the beer brewing itself, we leave a huge amount of spent grains, say which is rarely used because the fiber is just so high and it's so rough. And it's too moist, it's too hot. It's just not suitable for consumption or other uses. And so through cooperations with local bakeries here in southern Taiwan, we developed 2 flavors of granola made with these spent grains. And we retain that high fiber and nutritional value of the spent grains. And so we're not only providing our consumers with a healthy and vegan breakfast or snack choice, but we're also making our production line completely zero waste through this product. So right now we are at our 3rd year since we first started the company, and now we have a complete cycle of products. We have chips that's made of baked good waste, the beer too. And then we have the granola made of spent grains. And then just recently we launched our new product that is a sustainable flour. So people can now make their own bread or cake with this flour, you know, as completing this cycle of turning baked into tipsy and then tipsy back into baked. It's really quite interesting and exciting. Though people do question us a lot. So they'll be like, how do you make sure that you're actually green? You know, this is a relatively new concept in Taiwan. And also, Taiwan's sustainability conscious, I would say, has grown very drastically, and along with many greenwashing companies and startups. So that means people would claim to be eco-friendly or sustainable when they're actually the opposite. And so not just to shush the doubts and also to make sure that we're really positive we're not a greenwashing company, my co-founder Wayne is actually currently undergoing courses to be certified for quantifying and reporting greenhouse gas emissions. And so take our beer, for example. A normal procedure, say, to collect the waste from bakeries and factories, they transport it to the suburbs. They burn it or bury it. And at breweries that fly barleys all the way from Western countries, and because we don't grow them in here in Taiwan. And then they'll brew it, they'll send to the consumers. With us, bakeries and factories can send the waste straight to us, preventing all that going to waste. And for breweries, they no longer need to fly in the barleys for brew. That cuts a lot of the carbon footprints. And from our rough calculations, a container of beer uses around 450 kg of bread. We cut about 30 to 55 kg of carbon emission. I know it's not a lot compared to a lot of the other cuts, but it's definitely progress. And we're actually we're working to improve that number as our business grows. So how we're growing food tech apart is that we're no longer only selling to consumers. We're working with other businesses, private companies, governments to amplify this impact. When they use our product, it's not extra effort or cost for them because we've lowered the cost to average, and now they're making a positive contribution to the environment too. So imagine the gifts companies give can be green. Cocktails at bars can be green, and cakes, bread at bakeries can be green. We're essentially the Lego blocks, then we let other businesses build their own products. So I'd say it's kind of a win-win situation. When you really think about it, all we need to focus on is to continue improving our products, our Lego blocks. And consumer gets fun food and beverage options, restaurant gets great ingredients to work with, and companies gets decent gifting options. I mean, all our sales and support has proven it true. There are people out there, plenty actually, just like me. We want to join the eco action, not knowing how. And I'm glad us at Bake Tipsy were able to become this solution. We're starting to work with big brands, big media, and it's through them that we're able to reach a much larger audience. Because I was actually just sharing with my friends that, while it's cool to hear from friends and family, it's a whole different vibe when strangers show love. And it's just wild how you can forget how big an impact your work can create until people start telling you. We're only one of the few starting conversations about environment with food here in Taiwan, and it's really awesome. People giving us the juice to turn our ideas into something really big and making real impact. So I guess here goes a little intro to what we do at Bake Tipsy. I mean, I believe sustainable eating is definitely the highest level we're after, feeding our current and also our future population in say the most efficient way possible. If you all agree, although you can't be here personally to try our beer or our other products, I welcome you all to give our Facebook, Instagram, or Google a thumbs up. A 5-star, it's definitely going to help us a lot. And while we're at it, I noticed from the questions you asked and a lot of the introduction on the text box that a lot of you are educators. And I have to say, I'm super grateful for all of you for being here, just because I started my sustainable journey back when I was in middle school in grade 7 during my IB program. And when I was in middle school, I had a lot of influence from teachers like you. They planted the seed and made me understand what sustainability, which is, and whichever the issue we were discussing, it didn't need to be charity or some sort of sacrifice. They showed me all the possibilities. And honestly, I think that I believe is why I had the courage to start this social business. And so kudos to you all. And if you have any questions, feel free to just turn on your mic or drop it in the chat box.
Holly, thank you so much. What a fantastic presentation. And you were perfect on the innovation and creativity, and thanking all the educators here. So we're going to take a few questions. And the guy had one for Sujitra. Are you ready? He asked if you find children in Thailand to be environmentally aware, environmentally curious more so than 10 or 20 years ago, how are you seeing that today? Have you seen a change?
Yes. I think most Thai students right now they are aware of the issue. I think maybe because of they have seen it, they experience it. For example, the heat wave in summer, that's this summer, they feel it that it's very serious, and also the PM 2.5, the air pollution in Bangkok and in the northern part of Thailand is really worse. So I think the situation is getting worse, so they were aware of the issue.
Thank you. And we have a number of other questions. Nike or Ann, do you see any questions in the chat to ask Holly or Sujitra? And please keep.
I see one question asking if Holly ships her products internationally. Any ideas for folks outside of Taiwan to try your products, Holly?
Unfortunately, no, but we are looking at the Southeast Asian market, so hopefully we'll be in Thailand, Indonesia, or Malaysia soon. But for other Western countries, there are actually examples of people doing similar things in, I think they're in UK and Singapore, Japan, and also in the States. So you guys could look up food upcycling, bread to beer, and you might find one in your own home country. Or, give me a contact and we might just join you in your home country. Yes.
A good idea.
So Holly, you could ship us all some baked goods and beer, everybody listening. How about that?
Yes, and let's all get tipsy.
Any other questions? Nikki, do you have a question or do you see another question?
No. Or from God says, from where do you source hops? I'm not sure if it's a question.
Yeah.
But I personally have some questions though.
Yes. So one of those questions, Holly, was where do you source your hops? And then Nikki can ask you a couple of other questions. How's that?
Sure thing. So our hops, actually, we import them, unfortunately, from North America and European countries because we just don't have them here in Taiwan. But we don't like hop takes a very small percentage of all the ingredients we use. And so right now we're trying to focus on ingredients of a bigger percentage, that is barley. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, that's a good one. Nikki, any other question that you have before we go to another question?
Okay, yes. First, I have a question for Holly. And first, I just want to say thank you for your great presentation because I saw the picture of your beer and the logo says sustainable beer and made in Taiwan, which make me very proud to be a Taiwanese. So, but my question is, I hope you don't mind that I haven't heard about Baked Tipsy before. So I wonder how's this company going so far. And I don't know, I can accept like reused clothing, but I don't know, do most Taiwanese accept this wonderful idea of using waste food to become a beer? And how's the beer taste? Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Great. So I think I can answer it in two parts. So how the business is going, we're doing fine. We're doing great. We're growing significantly. I mean, not just the team, but also on sales. We started with a group of 6 students, and then now some have left, but we've grown into 9 employees now. And so I'd say we're doing fine. As for, people being worried that these food are, say, recycled, upcycled, they'd be worrying if they're, essentially eating trash. No, they wouldn't have to worry because one is that we actually do a lot of certifications, say like SGS, and we're going through ISO right now. And that is the problem we faced when we first started the company. People are like, oh, you're students, it's nothing. It's probably just like a student project. It's not going to be a big deal. But we wanted people to take us very seriously. So we look at ourselves as an actual business and we go through the same certification, we go through the same assessments, the government approved, so you guys don't have to worry about tasting our food. And another thing is that we're working with big brands essentially because of that. Big brands, they're worried about everything. They're worried about safety, food safety, I mean, and they're worrying about their brands. So they look at a lot of their stuff. They look at our factories too, just to make sure that there will be no problem on our products. And so big brands such as, if you're in Taiwan, you would know Elite, 诚品书店, and we're in department stores too, just to assure people that, you know, we are taking this very seriously. So you guys don't have to worry about it. Yes, that is, I guess, how we're reassuring our audiences.
Thank you, Holly. And Anne, I'm going to turn it over to you. There was a question from Wen Feng and also from Matt.
Yeah, a couple of questions here for Sujitra. Matt is asking if you are just getting started as a school, trying to work towards net zero, what would be a good first step? What advice would you give, Sujitra?
I have seen many questions in the chat box. Sorry, but I couldn't catch much. I think training teacher, or I think the first thing it should be the school leaders to understand the zero waste school concept, and they should give priority to the reduce or waste reduction before recycling. So we need to like let them understand the priority of the 3 R's. This is one thing, and the concept of waste management hierarchy that focusing on the waste prevention before jumping to recycling or energy recovery and disposal. Something that they need to understand. And related to another question, whether it will be successful if the teacher will not just teach them in the class. Of course, it will not effective at all. So I encourage teacher to take them out to learn. Actually, for waste problem, they just take the student just doing some cleanup activity at school or neighborhood would be the first step that they can do. And the next step can be like having the field trip to observe the microplastic contamination in the beach. For example, I used to take some students to the Bang Sand beach to do some observation of the microplastic, mix it with the sand. So we also teach the science. We can embed in the science program as well when we raise awareness of the microplastic problem. Thank you.
And Sujitra, one more question, or actually I'm going to combine 2 questions, one from Wen Feng and one from Sarah. So Wen Feng had asked, and I don't know if you saw it in the chat, about how do you help people not use plastic? Do they have water bottles or cups that they take outside, and any policies that encourage people to reduce the use of plastic? And then Sarah had asked also about how you get people to connect to nature as you're talking about kind of that emotional piece as you're talking about reducing school waste.
When I did the zero waste, we know that we cannot change behavior without having the infrastructure, being supporting infrastructure. So another very first program what we did is My Bottle program, that we install water dispenser across the campus. Same with the school, zero waste school. One checklist is about having clean drinking water refill station ready in school, and encourage students to bring their own bottle. And for the outside the school and campus, now for the private company movement, like the chain coffee shops, they also have offered some discount for people who bring their own cups to the coffee shop to get some discount. This is something that we try to create incentive for consumer to change their behavior.
That is fantastic.
And,
Well, thank you both. And Nikki, thank you for joining. And on behalf of all of our colleagues in Taiwan and Wen Feng, it is now 10:58, and I want to thank both of you for a wonderful presentation and everybody for joining. I also want to say thank you to the Jeep NAAE team Anne, Nina, Madeline, and Andy, thank you so much. And it's great to see so many of our friends. And Annie Wong, who's here, was a fellow with us at NAAEE, who is now back in Taiwan and runs a coffee shop. So it's nice to see so many people. And Wen Fang, thank you for everything that the Environmental Protection Administration of Taiwan does to support environmental education. Everyone will get a recording. We will circulate the slides, and really excited to hear about this wonderful work that is taking place. So thank you all. Have a great day, a great evening, and we hope to see you all soon on a future webinar. Take care, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you all.
Bye.
Thank you. See you soon online.
Bye. Thank you.
Good night. Good night.